Hi guys, I'm a forester here with the third in my series of videos reviewing my knife collection. Today I want to show you my current traditional folders. I've had many more of these over my 65 years, but these are the 6 that I have right now. I remember my very first knife. It was given to me by my dad when I was in the 3rd grade. Now, what I remember about it is that it had 3 blades and a black handle, and that's all I remember. His advice to me was to be careful and always cut away from myself. Of course, I didn't listen while I was whittling on a stick, and I sliced the pad of my left thumb. I remember dropping the knife in the yard and running into the bushes to bandage up my thumb myself. My left hand stayed in my pocket or under the table at meals until it healed, and my parents never knew what had happened. Now, up until the turn of the century, if you asked me what knife I was carrying in my pocket, it would have been one of these. I'll briefly cover these by when I bought them, and all were made in the U.S. except for one. Maybe you can guess which one wasn't. Now, I'll start with the oldest one on the table, and it's this one right here. This is my old timer. I've had this a good while. I don't know precisely when I bought it, but I think I probably bought it sometime in the 1980s. Let me show you the tang mark. It does say Schrade, made in the USA, and the model number is 340T. This is what's called a medium Stockman. And let me get the other blades out so you can see those. So it has the clip point, it has the sheep's foot, and the spade blade. All of them are in pretty decent condition. You'll see there is some corrosion down in the handle, but overall, they still have a lot of snap to them, and I still carry this knife. It's got nickel silver bolsters as well as the shield, and the shield says Old Timer. Now, the handle material is almost indestructible. It's made by DuPont and it's called Delrin. I don't think it shows anywhere whatsoever, and this knife, like I say, is probably about 40 years old. It's got brass liners as well as brass pins, and the quality of construction is fantastic. This is a good knife, and I think I paid somewhere around $10 to $15 as best I can recall. Now, the second oldest knife on the table is this one right here. This is a Remington Trapper, and I think it was given to me sometime in the late 1990s by my mother. This was a Christmas gift. She asked me what I wanted. I told her a knife, and this is the knife that she picked out for me. It's got 2 blades, a large clip point and a large spade blade. Let me show you the tang stamp here. Like I say, it's made by Remington and made in the USA, and it's model number R12. Now, it has nickel silver bolsters. I'll show you all the way around. It's got brass liners. You can tell the construction quality isn't what some of these other knives I'm going to show you are, but it's good enough. The handle material is that same DuPont Delrin material that must have been very popular back in the 80s and 90s. It has brass liners, brass pins, and I think this is valued somewhere around $25 to $35. Okay, the third oldest knife on the table is this one right here. It's also made by Schrade, and it's an Uncle Henry. This is called a premium Stockman, actually a signature premium Stockman. It has special meaning to me because it was given to me for speaking at a conference that was put on by Champion, a forestry company that doesn't exist anymore. And it was a sustainability conference, and it was held in 1995, so I know when this knife was made. And there's the tang stamp, made in the USA by Schrade, and the model number is 897UH. This is actually called a premium Stockman. It has 3 blades, and this blade is a unique blade. It's called a Turkish clip. It's a very thin blade, but I like that. It's got 2 other blades, of course. It's got the sheep's foot and also the spay blade. All the blades are in excellent condition. I've taken care of this knife. It's got some beautiful handles, and if you didn't know better, you would think that was stag, but it's a synthetic material called Staglon. I think they really look nice. It has nickel silver bolsters and shield, and the shield is signed Uncle Henry, as you've seen. It's billed as the world's finest pocket knife by Schrade whenever it was produced, and I think for a long while this was their most popular pocket knife sold, and it sells for somewhere around $40. And now for the only knife on the table that's not made in the USA, and it's this knife right here, this baby toothpick. It's made by Rough Rider, and I did buy this used, so I'm the second owner of this knife. It's got one clip point blade, a very delicate blade, but it's amazing what all I can get done with such a small blade. There's the Tang stamp, there's the Rough Rider name and logo, and over here it gives the model number RR063, and it is made in China. And it says 440 steel. I don't know if it is or not, but that's what they're claiming. The handle scales are, I think, very attractive. I'll show you that side. They're made out of bone, and this is amber jigged bone. I think they're attractive, and this is the first knife that I've showed you that actually has bone handle scales. Now the shield fell off at some point. I wish I had noticed when it fell off so I could have glued it back. And this is a very inexpensive knife. I wanted a toothpick, and this one came along. I think I paid $10 for it, but they go new now for $7 to $10. Okay, we're down to the last two knives on the table. These are the last two traditional folders that I purchased. The one I'll cover next is this one by Northwoods. This is their Madison Barlow. I've had Barlow knives before. I remember one that I purchased at a country store in Happy Valley, North Carolina. I had that knife for a long time. Don't know what happened to it, but I do remember enjoying using it. I'll show you the blade. It's got a 1095 steel drop point blade. I'll show you the Tang stamp, made by Northwoods and made in the USA. So we're back to the USA. Of course, the Barlow is known for their long bolster, and there's Northwoods logo. I got this one in particular because I wanted these Osage orange handle scales. I really like that. It's got excellent walk and talk, and everything is high quality. There's the blade centering, except for one thing, and in my review of this knife I pointed it out, how these pins stick out. They're not put in very uniformly, and some stick out a lot. That one always catches on my finger. It's just an annoyance. Other than that, that's the only negative thing I can say about it, but other than that, it is high quality. Very easy to operate, and so I use it a lot. This was a fairly expensive knife, and I think this is the most expensive of any on the table, and I paid $130 for it. Okay, the last knife on the table is the highest quality knife of any of these six. It's not the most expensive, but it is the highest quality. Now, I looked for this knife in particular because I wanted a single bladed trapper, which this is. This one also has a liner lock for added security, but I only wanted one perfectly sized knife for me that I could keep up with. Let me show you the Tang stamp. This is made by Northfield Unexcelled line, made in USA. And there's the model numbers if you want to look it up in particular. But this is the single bladed trapper. It has this beautiful Appaloosa horse cut jigged bone handle. Now some people don't like that, but that suits me just perfectly, and I'll try to give you a good look at it. It's got 1095 carbon steel. I already mentioned the liner lock. It's got nickel silver bolsters as well as the shield. It's got brass liners. And let me show you this in particular, how well that is put together and polished. I'm really impressed with the quality of this knife. There's the centering. So this is a high quality knife, but it didn't cost as much as that Madison Barlow. The Madison Barlow was $130. This one was $90. And I got this knife as the knife that I would carry to replace something like this right here, but I haven't carried it as much as this Madison Barlow, mainly because how hard that blade is to open. Very tough pull, and I'm always afraid I'm going to rip a nail. So there you have it. These are 6 more knives in my collection. That makes a total of 18 knives so far that I've shown you. The next group of knives will be my higher end knives, so watch for that video in a couple of weeks. Y'all take care.